Hey, welcome back to the channel. Well, we have a really big game this weekend. The excitement has built up since last Saturday and last Saturday's results, and there's a real air of anticipation this week for a huge match. Even though it's early in the season, it seems like it's a huge match between New Zealand and South Africa. So the teams have been announced and pretty interesting matchups all over the park, and I'm going to get into what I think are the most interesting. The first big matchup that I think is going to be key in the game, and that's in the back row. I entitled this video Power Play, and I think that's what the South Africans are doing in terms of their back row selection. I think they're really going to try and dominate the back row, and by that I mean the breakdown area. They've selected an extremely physical back row. I mean, all of the players are physical, but this is particularly kind of scary. They've gone for Muster, Visa, and Quagga Smith on the blind side. Now, the back row they're up against are Kane, Surveyor, Frizzell, and they're all good players, but physically wise, physicality wise, they kind of giving up a little bit. I think Ardie Surveyor's like Superman, obviously, and he's having a great season at 8, and last year arguably Player of the Year. But I just think Muster, particularly versus Kane, I think South Africa could get some change there, and they're going to look for, I predict, a few early turnovers, and if they get that, then it could be a sign of things to come for the rest of the match. So that back row matchup is somewhere where I think South Africa could potentially dominate. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. On the other hand, in the centres, I think New Zealand might have a slight advantage if things go their way. The selection is Jody Barrett and Rico Ioane against Delande and Am. Now, the South African centres, don't get me wrong, are absolutely superb players, but form-wise, fitness-wise, maybe Barrett and Ioane could get some change out of them. Depends. They have developed a good partnership for New Zealand, and I think that at the moment they are on form alone. They could have an advantage there. But again, that all depends, and this is the story of the match, is how the New Zealand pack go. So with that in mind, let's go to the front rows, because the scrum obviously is going to be a big part of this game, as it is any game. De Groot, Cody, Taylor and Lomax for New Zealand, and Kitsoff, Mbambi and Malherbe for South Africa. Now, two formidable front rows. Again, Mbambi is in for Marks, who's on the bench, but that's a tactical decision. Marks is such a good player. When the game kind of slows down a little bit, players get tired, and he's a turnover specialist, so I can understand why they've made the selection. The scrum is going to be key, and whoever dominates that is going to have a big up in the game. In terms of penalties too, so it might be a tight game, so that's going to be a big scrum. Penalties is going to be a big thing, who concedes and who doesn't, and yeah, they're going to go at it, and I'm really excited to see. It's not often you say I'm excited to see the scrums in this game, but I really am. So that front three battle is going to be a great matchup, I think. And let's go then into the second rows. Retallick and Scott Barrett, who's basically played his way into the side at his favourite position, which is lock, rather than 6. And yeah, he had a good game against Argentina. He's that type of player who does a lot around the park, but also does his job, and that's going to be invaluable, I think, for New Zealand. So great couple of second rows there. Retallick is a stalwart of the New Zealand side, and absolute legend becoming at this point. Etzebeth and De Jager, good second rows. Obviously Etzebeth coming back off injury, and it's unfortunate he had some bad news, a death in the family, so it's unclear at this point whether he'll start or not, but Snyman is a good player who can come in to replace him. Line out is going to be their main job. I'd love to see Elizabeth play, but you know, he has his family responsibilities, and obviously a tragedy like that puts things in perspective, and so the pack battle is going to be a huge part of the game, as it is any game, to be honest, at an international level. And set piece is going to be key, with Jason Ryan as the coach. New Zealand have definitely improved in that area, and let's see if they can match the South Africans. Certainly think they have the personnel to do it, just about mentality and the execution. So if they do, it'll be a very, very interesting game, I think. Let's move on now to the halfbacks. We've got Aaron Smith, who's arguably still the best scrum half in the world, and he's been around for an age, it seems, and he's at Peter Pan. He never seems to get old. And then Moanga at 10, Faf at 9, you know, again, seems to have been around forever, and Willemse at 10, getting the nod over Lebok. So both 10s are kind of under a little bit of pressure, I think, to perform. They have people breathing down their neck. Willemse has Lebok, and Moanga, after last week, has Mackenzie, who looked very composed. It's easy to do that, I guess, when your pack is dominating, as it was in the first half against the Argentinians. But yeah, both need a good performance, I think, to really solidify their place. Mwanga's had, I think, more opportunity, or a similar amount, I would guess, to Willemse. But yeah, let's see how that goes. It's going to be a great contest, I think. Which one adapts to the pressure more quickly and more effectively. Then onto the final matchup, which is the back three. Talia, Bowden Barrett and Will Jordan for the All Blacks. In Pimpy, Willie LaRue and Colby, Cheslin Colby back for the South Africans. So the only thing I will say about that is Will Jordan, great player, but playing on the wing, is he as effective? We'll find out. From broken play, definitely. From structured play, I'm not so sure. So, you know, he's such a talented player. He's got something to prove. Bowden Barrett, just great player. He can play almost anywhere, I would say. Talia, very strong on his feet. So he's going to give the wingers a test if he gets ball in hand, the big if. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Willie LaRue maybe is going to take over kicking duties in terms of out-of-hand kicking. But it's one of those things, and I've said this before, that when you take away responsibility from a player from a job that really he's expected to do, it's not good for his confidence. So I think for Willemse, he needs if he's going to really come out of his shell and shine, as everyone knows he can, he's a supremely talented player, then he needs to be given the responsibility. And in terms of kicking, I think Colby is a fantastic kicker. He can do everything, right? But it's one of those things, it's like those players, confidence players, I think. And yeah, 10 is going to be important, but Willie LaRue is obviously going to help out. In Pimpy, veteran from the last World Cup winner against Talia. That's going to be interesting. Is MPP going to be able to handle Talia? And is Talia going to be able to handle MPP's pace? So yeah, great matchups all over the pitch. But again, everything boils down to the pack and how they're going to match up against each other. Set piece is key, and turnovers are going to be key. I'd slightly favour South Africa because of that power play in the back row. Sam Cane, it needs a big game to hold Moster back, but can he produce it? That's a question. So I would slightly favour South Africa for this one. Yeah, if you agree or disagree, I respect your opinions, and I'm looking forward to the game a lot. and I can't wait to see you. So roll on Saturday. Let's go. All right. All the best. Like and subscribe.